Parenting. Now, this is something that's found right in the Bible. It's very scriptural, and you need to know that parenting, even though it's hard, as a Christian, you can parent in such a way using this age-old secret that we're going to get to in just a second. Now, before we get to the big idea, let's just first acknowledge that great parents engage in conversations. This is true for agnostic parents and Christian parents and atheistic parents and any kind of parent. The best parents know how to have conversations with their kids. They create an environment on a regular basis where conversations are happening. So keep that in mind. The second point is that great parents, as far as the Bible is concerned, great parents transfer biblical values to their kids. They're not afraid to transfer biblical values. I mean, after all, the world is trying to transfer secular values, non-biblical values. So Christian parents, we better get in the game and transfer our biblical values to our kids. We shouldn't just keep our mouths shut, but we should help them. This is what Ephesians 4 says. Then we will no longer be immature like children. We won't be tossed and blown about by every wind of new teaching. We will not be influenced when people try to trick us with lies so clever that they sound like the truth. So the world is filled with lies. Our kids get lies all the time in movies, from their friends, from the media, just everywhere. I mean, they're always being fed a bunch of other values and worldviews. So great parents, Christian parents, transfer their biblical values so that their kids aren't fooled and tricked, like it says in Ephesians 4. And so really what that means, another word for that, is mentoring. Great parents see themselves as mentors. Great parents mentor their kids. And there it is right there. There's the secret sauce. The secret sauce of Christian parenting is establishing a habit of mentoring with your kids. This is important because when you mentor your kids, we're talking about biblical mentoring. Now, Jesus, of course, called this disciple making. Parents, you should see your goal as a Christian. It doesn't matter if you've been a Christian your whole life or if you're brand new at this. Your goal is to make disciples of your kids, is to help your kids pursue God. Your goal is to mentor your kids. So the secret sauce of Christian parenting is establishing the habit of mentoring. And so what we mean is, on a regular basis. Now, you're going to have all kinds of conversations throughout the week, throughout the months, throughout the years as your kids grow older. But what we encourage you to do, this is part of the secret sauce, is to establish a regular time, at least once a week, every week, where you're speaking truth into your kids' lives, you're mentoring your kids. Now, of course, we call that family time in our website. You can check out the resources at pursuegod.org about how to establish that family devotional time, bringing intentional conversations into the world of your kids on a regular basis. Maybe when you first start doing it, your kids aren't going to love it. But as you do it and you make it a habit, just like any other habit, they begin to understand the value of it, and so do you. And this is part of the secret sauce. But there's one more thing. The fourth thing that you have to understand is that great parents don't just mentor their kids, but great parents help their kids become mentors themselves. This really is sort of the other side of the coin of the secret sauce of Christian parenting. Don't just be the mentor, because when you're the mentor, you're speaking truth into your kid's life, but really the goal is to help them to realize that they too can not just be listeners of truth, but they can own these same values. They can learn how to engage in these same conversations, that they someday can become mentors themselves. I mean, even at a young age, 12, 13, 14 years old, your kids can start mentoring other kids in their world. And when you help them to do this, look at what it says in Ephesians 4:15. Instead, it says, we will speak the truth in love, growing in every way, more and more like Christ. Look at what he's saying. Paul's writing this. He's saying this: when we speak the truth in love, not just when we listen to the truth being spoken to us, but when we speak the truth in love, then we'll grow more and more like Christ. Let's go back to verse 14. Then we won't be like children anymore. We won't be tossed and blown about by every wind of new teaching. We won't be influenced when people try to trick us with lies. When? When will all of this great growth happen? When will we grow? When will we mature? When will we, get beyond being infants in our faith? Well, when we speak the truth in love. So parents, don't just become a mentor for your kids. You should have the expectation that your kids can also be mentors for others, because when they do this, they won't be tossed and blown about. Then they'll be growing more and more like Christ. And then you'll be such a great parent, and you will have learned the secret sauce of Christian parenting. Now go ahead and use the resources below this video to have this very conversation and begin mentoring your own kids or mentoring some of the people in your own world.